If you've been considering a move to Lubbock, Texas, one of those things that you've probably been looking at or wondering about is the cost of living here in Lubbock. And if you stick around, I'll break down some different numbers and where we stand across the nation whenever it comes to housing, transportation, and utilities. Hey y'all, I'm Jayci. I'm a realtor here in Lubbock, Texas, and I'm sharing all kinds of real estate information as well as information about Lubbock and the surrounding area. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. And if you want to stay up to date on all the information that I'm sharing about the real estate market and Lubbock, please hit that subscribe button if you like my content. And if you want to be notified anytime I share something new, hit the bell. And with that, let's get started. So Lubbock's overall cost of living is actually 10 to 20% lower than the national average, which is really good considering how things are going up these days. And when it comes to housing, Lubbock actually has remained one of the most affordable places to buy a home in Texas, and it actually ranks number 6 as one of the most affordable metros for first-time homebuyers. And if you compare the prices of median prices of homes across other cities, it is actually 75% more affordable here than it is in San Francisco. Some of those numbers look like Austin at $642,500, Dallas $445,000, Fort Worth $370,000, Waco and San Antonio both come in at $285,000, and Midland actually comes in at $374,500, whereas the median price here in Lubbock is $255,000, which is, as you can tell, quite a bit more affordable than all those places that I listed before. The only one that comes close, or the only two I should say, is Waco and San Antonio, but they're still $30,000 more than homes here in Lubbock. And if you look at the rent prices here in Lubbock, they're fairly affordable. The median rent per month here in Lubbock is $1,100. Of course, that depends on the type of apartment or house that you have that you are renting, but generally speaking, a one bedroom will run you $725 per month. A 2-bed is around $900. 3 beds is between $1,400 and $1,500 depending on where you are and what you have. 4-bedroom is $2,000, and a studio apartment actually runs you about $700 per month for just that studio apartment. And of course, with housing comes utilities. And of course, it depends on what utilities you want, what utilities are offered in your area. But generally speaking, utilities are 10% lower here in Lubbock than they are across the nation. And the electric bill typically runs around $150 average across Lubbock. Of course, give or take, depending on what your electric needs are, which comes in around 8.2 cents per kilowatt hour versus the national average, which is 16.3 cents per kilowatt per hour. And just for reference, these numbers are as of January 2023. I will reference the video down below in the description. So if you want to look back at the numbers that I am talking about, that's where that's going to be. Internet and cable services usually run you around $75 per month. Water is around $40, depending on where you are. There are some houses around Lubbock that do have wells, so the water is tied into your electric. Again, it just depends on what utilities you have and or need. And then phone is around $168 per month. And that brings us into food costs. And Lubbock is sitting at around 91.9% of the cost of living index, which is an index that takes an average across the nation, and then the lower the number, the more affordable, the higher the number, the more expensive. And so us sitting at 9.1, we're about 8% less than the national average when it comes to our food costs. In general, groceries will cost a single person around $3,000 per year. Now, this is for groceries, not eating out or any of that. Just groceries. A family of 4 is around $8,800, whereas the national average is around $9,350. So that's a pretty good savings whenever you really crunch those numbers and break that down. And as far as going out and eating, it's kind of hard to judge that because everyone goes out more or less than everyone else. Just depends on what you want and what you do as a family. But there are lots of options for any budget, whether you want to go cheap and delicious or expensive and delicious. There are tons of options around Lubbock for dining out. And when it comes to transportation, Lubbock is actually more affordable than most of the surrounding cities. And there are lots of different transportation options, whether you want to do city bus, Uber, Lyft. There are some taxi services, so there are lots of options if you don't have a vehicle. If you do have a vehicle, of course, you have that option to drive around. And the gas is quite a bit more affordable than a lot of places across the country. As of January 2023, Lubbock was sitting at an average of $2.69 per gallon for gas. Whenever you compare that to San Francisco, which was at $5.44, Atlanta $3.77, New York 390 cents, 390, and New York at $3.90. That is quite a bit more affordable than all of those places and most of the places across the nation. So thankfully, we are a little more affordable whenever it comes to our transportation needs. And when we look at auto insurance, the average for auto insurance is $1,096 per year, which is less than the state and national average premiums and is around 16.7% less than the Texas average. And when we look at healthcare, depending on what your medical needs are and what kind of insurance that you are looking into and needing, Lubbock can be slightly lower than the national average. If you're looking at a year-long home health care, nationally, it'll run you around $45,000, and Lubbock will run you close to $41,000. I know that's still a lot, but it is a little bit lower than the national average, which is nice. As far as premiums for health insurance goes, they are rising across the nation. That's just where we are as a nation right now. And currently, or as of January, the average 40-year-old may pay around $510 per month for health coverage. Again, just depends on your medical needs, your family needs, all of that kind of stuff, but that's kind of an average for a 40-year-old. Sadly, one of the things that we are a little bit higher on as far as cost of living goes is our childcare. In Lubbock, we are about 10% higher than the national average. Of course, that varies on what place you choose to send your child to, whether it is a private place, a religious place, an educational type preschool, the age of your child, it all varies in price, of course. But overall, Lubbock is about 10% higher than the national average for childcare. So that is definitely something for you to think about and consider, especially if you have little ones that are not school age. So now that we've seen kind of what goes into expenses as far as housing, utilities, transportation, childcare, food, all of that stuff goes, let's look at the flip side and look at some averages for income and salaries. Salaries across Lubbock average between $47,300 and $52,250, which is a decent average for the area, especially with our lower cost of living. And as of January 2023, our our unemployment rate has been consistent with the national average at around 6%, but we do expect a future job growth rate of 39%. So those are the overall numbers that go into the cost of living here in Lubbock, Texas. And definitely consider all those numbers whenever you are thinking about making a move here. Of course, if it's for a job, that consideration may not affect that, but if you are considering a relocation just for new scenery or a lower cost of living, definitely keep Lubbock in mind. And if you have any questions about Lubbock, the numbers that I talked about, or anything else, please send me a message or let me know in the comments, and I will get to it as soon as I can. Also consider the fact that Lubbock has a pretty decent real estate market. Even now, we have definitely slowed down than what we were at the past few years, but it is not way down as compared to some of the other places across the country. And with that housing market, the home that you buy here, it could either be your forever home or it could be a great investment later down the road, when you decide to upsize, downsize, or relocate for a different reason. That home could be a fantastic opportunity for you to make some secondary income later on. And then, of course, with the cost of living, consider that Lubbock still has a lot of the same amenities that some of the other big cities have here in Texas, but it's still very affordable. Of course, there are some things that we don't have that other bigger cities have, like Dallas and Fort Worth, but overall, we have a lot of the same things at a much better price. And that's all that I have for you. I hope you found this information helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if you liked the video, please hit that like button. And if you want to stay up to date on my content, hit the subscribe, and I will catch y'all next time.